I genuinely like Hilary Duff, maybe even love her, if I'm being honest. Lizzie McGuire, top tier. And that's exactly why I got annoyed enough to look into this whole Ladder and Hilary Duff campaign. She was recently named fitness ambassador for a fitness app called Ladder. And the campaign behind it is actually pretty smart and it's aspirational. It's the message that I genuinely believe in, but my psychology brain flagged three things that I think you need to know before you go and spend your money on this collaboration. So in this video, that is exactly what I'm going to break down for you, what they're claiming. So here's the campaign. Hilary Duff, visibly strong and lean, framed against the Ladder logo, and then phrases like stronger, not smaller, and I train on Ladder, with the implicit promise that she used the app and she looks like that, so you can too. And the app itself is a subscription-based model. It's mostly a strength training platform. It has real workouts, it has real programming, and real trainers. Their app prices range from $14.99 a month all the way up to $44.99 per month, depending on what you choose. And they do offer a 7-day free trial for what that's worth, how it works. So before we get into the flags, I need to explain how this works because it's the same pattern I see in almost every celebrity fitness campaign. And once you see it, honestly, you can't really unsee it. And it's called credibility transfer. And it basically just means that when a person you trust and admire endorses something, your brain borrows that credibility and applies it to the product. It's not necessarily manipulation per se, but it is how our brain is wired, and it's a shortcut for us to use. We trust our tribe. And for a lot of us women, especially those of us who are millennials and grew up in the 90s, Lizzie McGuire, aka Hilary Duff, is part of our tribe. Not to mention, she's a mom of multiple children, and we just love her. She's an icon. And so, what that means for you is that when you see her transformation, your brain isn't asking, did the app cause that? It's asking, do I trust her? And the answer is yes. So, the purchase decision follows the trust, but not the evidence. And that's not a criticism of Hilary Duff as a person. That's just how it works. But here's where things get interesting, the 3 red flags. So let me walk you through the 3 patterns of this launch that my therapist and psychology brain flagged, okay? And I want to say this clearly. I'm not making accusations about anyone or what anyone intended. What I'm looking at and naming is the patterns that I see. Because once you see them, you can make a much clearer decision on if this is the purchase for you. So red flag number 1 is the she's like you framing. This campaign illicitly builds on relatability. And I want you to sit with how that feels for a minute because it does something specific, psychologically speaking. Hilary Duff is a working mom in her mid 30s, early 40s. I don't know exactly how old she is compared to me. I think she's like a year or two older than me. I'm 37. So a lot of the women that are watching her see this, and that part is real. But there's also a good chance that she has access to a personal trainer, a nutritionist, private gym facilities, and a schedule that can be structured around her wellness in ways that most of us can't, categorically speaking. And that's not a criticism of her. Again, that's what it's like to be a major actress in Hollywood. And that level of income comes with a lot of flexibility and possibilities. So the relatability framing activates something called identification. You see yourself in her. So as a result, you feel like that's proof that it's possible for you. And that works. It genuinely works for most of us, but it only holds up if the conditions are actually similar. And the Ladder community on Reddit noticed this too. And some of the existing user base, not a hater, but someone who's an existing user base had a lot to say. And this is somebody who's already paying for the app. They commented some comments like, the biggest announcement ever has me glad my membership expires. And there was a whole community discussion about all of this stuff. One commenter wrote, all this led up to a tone deaf, she's like you marketing campaign, which, let's be real, is not the case. Hilary Duff can afford a private trainer, a chef, and a fancy gym. Ladder is a splurge for me. And that kind of quote is really doing everything I said. And this came from someone inside the Ladder community, not just me, before I even thought about making this video. Red flag number 2 is the usage question. And this one didn't come from me either. This is something I was looking at in my research. It came from an existing Ladder community person on Reddit. But according to what was shared publicly, the users noticed that Hilary had posted her Ladder workout completed screen, and it showed that she had only completed her 6th workout. One comment that got a lot of traction said, quote, she just posted her Ladder workout and it said it was her 6th one. So she essentially verified that she was not an existing user and just got paid a lot of money to say that she is, which is whatever. The criticism of the marketing strategy has never really been directed at Hilary herself, more about the onslaught of lead up marketing falling flat for existing members. So I doubt she really cares. It has nothing to do with her, really. So that became a whole conversation pretty quickly because the campaign framing is really saying that, like, this is her training program and that she trains on ladder, right? I train on ladder. Now, like I said, I cannot independently verify the screenshot. I couldn't find it. And I'm not presenting to you that to you as confirmed fact. But what I'm saying is that if you're considering an app because a public figure endorses it, it is a completely reasonable question to ask, does she actually use it regularly? Because that is the core of the credibility claim that the campaign is making. I didn't make that claim, they did. And red flag 3 is how the launch handled the criticism after the fact. So the third is how the launch handled the feedback. And this one had its own dedicated Reddit thread. And these are, again, paying ladder subscribers just asking why their comments are being deleted. And some of them even reported being blocked entirely. One of the pay members wrote, "Why are they deleting comments?" And then another said, "Ladder posted the announcement on Instagram, and I saw a few comments about how this means nothing for their members. I checked again a few minutes later, and all the critical comments were deleted. That seems pretty sleazy." And that comment itself had 84 likes and 194 comments. And this is social media 101, y'all. How a company handles criticism from people who are already paying for them is a really clean window into how they actually think about how their customers feel, not about the marketing. And the behavior after the marketing did not land the way that it seems like someone had hoped. What the campaign gets right. I want to pause there, though, because I just named 3 things that I flagged, but that's not the whole story. The stronger, not smaller messaging is genuinely an important one. The fitness industry has spent decades telling women to shrink. The shift towards a strength as a goal and muscle as a goal and capacity as a goal, that is a meaningful cultural correction. And having a major celebrity platform messages to women who would never see a fitness creator on YouTube, that definitely matters. And people on Instagram were responding in kind with messages saying things like, yeah, stronger, not smaller, or saying that they would be signing up for a strength training program. Because to me, as a woman, strength training is not an optional thing. We really, truly all should be doing it for our health. And so here's my honest take. If Hilary Duff is the reason that a woman who has never touched a pair of weights in her life picks up one, then I am genuinely all for that. And that inspiration is real and that inspiration is yours. The message is real, but the fit might not be. And you deserve to be able to tell them apart why it works on us. The psychoeducation. So here's why this hits specifically hard for us women in our 30s and 40s. We are the prime targeting window for aspirational fitness marketing. We have disposable income, we have a specific body goal typically, and the industry has been telling us since we were teenagers that we should have these specific body goals. And we are at the life stage where we can finally maybe start to ask different questions. So the stronger, not smaller lands on us so hard because it gives us permission to want something different than what we've been sold for so many years. And when a message gives us permission we've been wanting, we bond with it, right? We want to bond with the product that's attached to it, even when the product isn't actually the source of the permission. And that's behavioral psychology. And I want to name it. This is psychoeducation, after all, not clinical advice, because obviously I'm not your therapist. But I think you should know how this works in your own brain before you potentially make what could be an over $300 a year decision. So here's the truth. None of this works without parasocial relationships. And I want to be clear that I am not saying parasocial relationships are necessarily bad, nor are they pathological. They are completely normal and part of how we humans connect online these days, right? I have them. I'm confident that you have them because you're watching this YouTube video right now, which means you like creators like myself and others. Those are parasocial relationships, but they are a vulnerability piece in a decision making process because when your brain processes information from someone you have a parasocial bond with, it uses different circuitry than it does when it's a stranger. There's less skepticism, there's more openness and more resonance. So the fitness industry knows that and has known that for a very long time. And that's why celebrity fitness partnerships and influencer partnerships exist as a category. It's not cynical to name it, it's just, well, accurate. And the aspirational identity piece is the second layer. She's like you isn't just relatability framing, it's activating a version of yourself that you want to become. And when you purchase, it feels like that step toward the version of you that you want to become. It's very hard for logic to compete with that feeling that you get in the moment, especially when that dopamine hits. The decision framework. So here's how I'd actually think about it. If you're brand new to strength training and you need a fully structured app with real programming, accountability features, Ladder could be a legitimate option. The trainers are real, the workouts are real, and that's a decently fair exchange for $29 a month, I would say. Because here's the thing, I would bet money that Hilary does strength train just by looking at her. And I've read the reviews on Ladder, and it seems like people do see results because a lot of it is focused on strength training, which does work and is effective. But I would need to test it for myself to fully vet it. So if you guys want that video, let me know in a comment, and I will do that as soon as I'm able to lift again. But if you've been training for years or you have a good understanding of progressive overload, you probably don't need this. Free options will take you farther or as far for less money. You don't necessarily need this. But if you're buying it because Hillary looks incredible and you just want that, I totally understand that impulse. I want to look like her too. But just know that that's a credibility transfer thing talking. Her results, the app's results, they're not the same variable. Make sure you separate those two things in your mind before you click purchase because her body isn't your body. And all bodies look different, even when they do the exact same things. And again, if the stronger, not smaller messaging is what's pulling you in, then you should totally keep that because you don't have to pay for that message. That message is already yours. So I just think you should have a full picture. In reality, this video is about Ladder app, but it's also not about the Ladder app because this kind of branding is literally everywhere now. And us millennials and up, we are the most likely candidates because we are the ones with the most disposable income. And that's just the reality. All of these influencer campaigns, all of these celebrity campaigns, they are all the same. So if the stronger, not smaller messaging is landing with you and you want to know where to actually get started with training, I will link a video here for you that you should watch next that'll help you get started, and I will link some others below. I'll also link my creator playlist on the other side so that you can explore some free options should you choose to do so if you want to strength train at home. And I will see you in the next one. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't done so already. Bye, friends.